Hey guys, and welcome to FanCast. We're very grateful to be recording from the historic St Kilda Sports Club, the oldest locker room in the Southern Hemisphere. Join us on the bench where we talk all things footy. We're fans, and this is FanCast. G'day FanCasters, and welcome to another episode here on the pod where we have a proper footy chat. Yes guys, as you can see, we're rocking some eye shade here. This is courtesy, of course, of our sponsor, our newest sponsor. Thank you so much to Hockey Sunglasses. That's HOKKY. You can sell them and then buy them online on their website as well as in person at the Queen Victoria Market. Thank you so much for shouting us out with this. They look awesome. How we doing, boys?
I do feel very, very spiff. I feel ready to go out and about.
I feel sexy wearing these. I feel ready to go for the snow.
Well, you feel it and you look it. If I may say so.
Yeah, I agree.
Please don't file any sexual harassment claims.
I was going to say, how did you get the visor on that one?
Yeah, I feel like a bit of a Chad. Yeah.
You love a good chat.
Yeah.
And that's why we've brought on Reese from NorthyAFL. How are we doing, Reese?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for bringing me on. I'm excited to just have a chat and enjoy the night, really. I've heard some big things going to happen tonight.
Oh.
I've been roped into something, but we'll leave that for you.
Gee, we've only just begun.
We've only just begun, and Anna definitely set this up from last week, and of course she's not here. So Anna, we're doing this for you. And also because of you. So, yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. And don't worry, you'll have your share of pickle juice next week. You're not escaping from this. So, the week that was, Reese, how did you find it in general?
Honestly, the tough part about this week was that it was following up last week.
Yeah.
Last week was fantastic all around the field for footy. And even the week before, I remember that one because the Brisbane Tassie game ended with a draw and just the margin and all games pretty much were close. But last week was fantastic too. Just so many matchups and storylines. Obviously, we'll go into talking about them all, but the fact that it seems to keep finding new ways to deliver. And that's, I think, something that I've been really, really happy about this season is not everything has been guaranteed. You've seen crazy upsets from go to woe.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
100%. And there was a lot of 50-50 calls, and I think you did quite well in the tipping this week, didn't you?
Yeah. Port. My bold call with Port.
It
didn't end well.
It's called a bold call for a reason, right?
Well, my actual bold call was not far off. Bailey Dale to get under 20.
Yeah.
But
that's not bad.
Yeah, I did talk to Dave about it as well. I was like, make sure you post it. And
make sure you post the ones that get right, yeah?
I posted that nearly 3/4 time, and ever since that happened, Bailey Dale went from 9 to 22 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So, I jinxed myself on that one, but I nailed the margin. 14-point win for the Cats.
Well done.
So that's handy for the
Are you clapping yourself right now?
He's got to hype himself up.
He's clapping himself.
I'm feeling different in these visors, I'm telling you.
Look, if you want to take them off, you certainly can. Then we can sort of have some more eye contact.
I need to see.
I'm a bit worried to take mine off. I don't know how. I've got a bit used to them. I don't know what the lights are going to be like.
No, it's all right. A bit like North Melbourne. Bright lights. Bright lights scare us, don't they?
We haven't seen bright lights in 20 years. It's all right.
Well, the bright lights were definitely shining on the first game, which was, everyone penciled that in to be the game of the round. The Cats and the Dogs, the domestic animals.
Woof versus meow.
Okay, you didn't have to go there, but thank you, Steve.
He's just trying to find new ways about it. Yeah, I like it. That's good.
Yeah, woof versus meow.
Are we going to be doing sound effects for all of the games?
Don't.
I will, yes.
Oh, yes, good. I love it. Clip that one, please, Dave.
Yeah, it's gonna be a montage.
It'll be a montage.
I'm interested to see what type of sound effects you bring out.
It's gonna be a bit of a struggle after those two. I was
gonna say the reason you did it was because they're easy.
Yeah. I'll do it for each game we go through.
That's why I had to ask him while he was feeling up and about. Then, can we get him to say yes? And he did. So we'll be keen to see what happens next.
I forgot about the other 16 teams. I'm gonna have to think of sound effects for an anchor.
Yeah. You can probably have
a giant.
I'll let you go for the splash.
Yeah,
for that
that's
one.
all right. That's all right.
I'll get you with a splash. For
You
this
can
one.
just spend the next couple of minutes thinking those.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
We'll talk about the game that was between the Cats and the Dogs. That was a really good game down at the Cattery on the Thursday night. It was, of course, Baz Law, not Brownlaw. I think this guy has put himself into favoritism well and truly for the Brownlow this year, the way he's going. Had a great game against his old mob, the Doggies, and there was a bit of biffo on the ground as well. You love to see a bit of biffo.
Wasn't as much as anticipated,
No.
though. There was a bit of mutual respect.
Maybe we overhyped it a bit.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think if you're talking biffs, yes. If you're talking the game itself,
Ripper game.
that was fantastic.
Unreal game of footy.
You don't see that many high-scoring games, and I feel like especially at GMHBA, right? You can get the. I think that games honestly are more likely to be lopsided at that ground, despite the close ones that have come around, like GWS and now this one.
Yep.
But the high-scoring games on both sides, right?
Yep.
Because at GMHBA, you've got your launching pad right on that centre half forward line. And if you get it stuck inside their forward 50, right on the goal square, there's no getting it out at GMHBA.
No.
It becomes stuck in that spot. So the fact that so many scores on both sides of the ball was just a lot of fun to watch.
It was. And I'll tell you what, if you want to watch a game of footy, maybe watch Geelong, because they've produced some absolute belters this year. The Collingwood game,
Yep.
the GWS game,
Yep.
The Thursday night game against the Wolves.
The Wolves.
And there's one that I'm missing. Is it the Adelaide game as well? Gather round. So
Yeah.
So if you want to watch a good game, go and watch the Cats, because they're playing some unbelievable footy. They're a well-oiled machine, the best well-oiled machine in the competition. Such a perfectly run football club. Nothing's perfect, but a very
Perfectly running.
perfect.
You said you were a Hawks fan, right?
Yeah.
That is wild things to
I
say as a
know.
Hawks fan. About Geelong.
There's massive. I have
based.
massive respect.
You give your credit to the teams. I'll give you that.
I give massive
hide your
respect.
bias very well.
No. I'm. There's tears in the eye every word that I'm saying, but no. Credit where credit's due. Geelong are doing fantastic.
Yeah, the best run club in the comp.
Yeah.
Like they just never die, and they'll always get better. And there's always rumors about who the next person who's going to be making it down to the category.
Yep.
Is it a Walsh? Is it a Butters?
It's because they've got the thing that attracts them more than any other Melbourne club is come down to Geelong. The media's gone. There's no traffic. The coffee's not as good, but you can come to Geelong and
You just have
live
beer
a
for
good
breakfast.
lifestyle. What?
You just have beer for breakfast, don't need coffee.
You're nearly 30, mate.
Jeez, what was that supposed to mean? I thought you were calling me ancient the other week.
Oh, mate. That's tough. That's harsh.
I know, right?
I saw you split the G the other week.
Split the G the other week. What the hell is going on right now? Jesus. Are we sure he's a Hawthorn supporter?
What?
Are we sure you're a Hawthorn supporter?
Yeah, I'm just unbiased.
You just also probably don't want to talk about their performance this week. Yeah.
I'm just
Mate,
delaying
we're
as long as we
stalling.
can.
He's
We're going to talk about your Hawks, bro. Don't you worry,
He's
man.
No, don't
Puck
worry.
ball, more like chuck ball. It's choking at the moment. But no, Bailey Smith, I want to talk about him again because he said something really interesting post-game.
He did.
He said he almost did not get up for this.
Yeah,
And if it wasn't the Doggies or a final, he wouldn't have played. And that he needed 4 jabs in the shin to get up for it. And then when Chris Scott was asked about it, he was like, I had no idea I've never heard anything about it.
I feel like that's just a Bailey Smith type of thing to do, though. It's just
to build up the courage.
It's flair. It's flair. I don't know exactly
I
the
wonder what
reasoning
type of-
behind. I don't even know how the injury occurred. Was there any
Was it a corky? Was it a?
It was pre-game. So he was having jabs before the game and would not have played if not for the fact that it was the Bulldogs game.
Yeah, well,
I'm confused. What was he jabbed with?
I don't know. Something that
what
Chris
was he
Scott-
getting up with?
wouldn't that hurt as well, right on the shin? That wouldn't be nice.
Maybe
Usually
because
you're
he's too
looking-
busy kicking with his shins. He's a bit of a butcher with the ball a little bit. But like, seriously though, how the hell is the coach? I mean, then to be fair, Chris Scott did not know 3 weeks ago that they have an updated injury list.
That's the one thing I'll put against Geelong
How
at the
many
minute.
years is he into his career as a coach?
Yeah, he's like, oh, do we release updates to our injury list every week?
15 years.
He only knew about it.
To be fair, he probably just walks up to the boys and goes, yeah, how you feeling? You're all right to go? Yeah, easy.
You're
Let's
all right
go.
to go. As soon as you cross that white line, you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one thing I'll give Geelong. Their injury reports are a disgrace.
Absolute disgrace. It's a farce. It's a farce. They're liars. They're liars.
I remember at the start of the year, there was people going on about how they're, what was it? There was an audit going around for, they go like around a couple of clubs each year.
Yeah.
And Geelong was one of them.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, they're going to find out that they're getting paid in in land and that millions of dollars worth of land, and that's why they're being brung across, something like that.
There was also a bit of
I could be talking out my ass, but
there was also a how you doing, Chris Scott, like, because he also got a job at one of the sponsors that they have. He landed a high job in the
Morris Finance.
And Morris Finance.
Just before we started the podcast, Agenda Setters is on Channel 7. I just saw the first clip that they posted, and looks like Geelong might be fined for third-party payments.
here we go.
Yeah.
The collapse of Geelong is beginning now.
Yes. Finally.
We made it.
All it took was some dodgy financing to finally bring him undone. Paulie, what are you doing, you corrupt individual? What are you doing, Paulie? You got to call up the club straight away. But honestly, now the Cats they're in ripping hot form. And the Dogs are in ripping hot form as well. And they really took it up to the Cats. They hit the post 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times.
Missed so many
In
opportunities.
terms of scoring, I remember the exact stat line. It was like 20 goals 7 to 16 goals 17.
Unbelievable.
So you could only imagine if they just kicked a little bit more accurate, they'd find their ways. But I've always found that Aaron Norton is one of those forwards that like it's like a day-by-day basis as to whether he kicks straight or not.
Correct.
Also trying Buku Karmas in the forward line a little bit was probably needed.
Yes.
And in terms of the Dogs, because I believe they are, I still think they're top 4 contenders.
Yeah.
With the way they're going so far this season.
Yeah.
But it may have to be a lot of those, right, the way they started their year off was they'd have to rely on some other blokes to fill in the roles. They did a really good job to start, and then Bont came in.
Yep.
And then now that Sam Darcy's out, they're waiting and trying to fill in those games, fill in that forward line with as many pieces as they possibly can until he comes back. So I still think the best of the Dogs is yet to come.
Yes.
Despite how many people have said they're in red hot form, I've even had people say they're peaking too early. And that could be true.
It could be.
But I think with the fact that they've got such a valuable piece and such a strong piece still on the sideline right after their captain came back from injury, right? I just think there's something that we're going to see towards the end of the season that goes, okay, these guys are fighting for that grand final, prelim final, whatever it may be, that top 4 spot.
Trelaw as well.
Trelaw's in and out. For Trelaw, I think he could continue to be in and out. He's up there in game. He's 250 plus games now, and that's not to say that he's going to be injury prone.
Yes.
But he's shown that he's going to be injured occasionally, may not be as strong as he used to be, whatever it may be. But Sam Darcy's the one I'm looking at.
For sure.
Because he opens the game so much. Overhead, he is ridiculous.
Yep.
So good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You could argue as well that the Dogs are probably missing their 3 best forwards.
Yeah, Jamara.
He's a gun.
Sam.
And Waitman.
Waitman, yeah, good shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still kicking 113 points against one of the best teams in the comp. So they're doing a tremendous job. Obviously, no Trelaw. Does that the Dogs' midfield has been unbelievable this season. Could Trelaw sort of, I don't know, it seems like they've got the perfect mix at the minute.
He could find a new role. I know that a lot of Port's trying Connor Rozee on the half back line.
That could work.
So they may do that with Trelaw, but I'm just trying to think if Trelaw has got the defensive tendencies. He's always been an in and under type player.
Yeah.
He's always been an on-ball player, so maybe they move him out to the wing.
Yeah, potentially, because now that they've got Matt Kennedy doing that grunt work as well, along with Liberatore. So very impressive side, the Dogs. They've had a lot of bad media towards them towards the start of the season due to all their injuries and all that. And Luke Beveridge, what's he like as a coach? And we were talking about it with Joe last week. We thought he was coach of the year contender with the way he's been going. So Dogs are a very solid side. They're looking bound for definitely for top 8.
Yeah.
But is there possibly the notion that we might have jumped the gun in terms of premiership contenders because of who they've played, who they've beaten, and who they've lost to?
Yeah.
So you look at who they've beaten, they've definitely beaten up on the bottom 10. But when it comes to teams in the top 8, they have lost.
They've only beaten one team in the top 8.
Yeah. So in terms of who they've beaten, now the way they've beaten us, like us, St Kilda, they absolutely torched us by overnight. Port, like these are massive, 60, 70, 90 point wins. These are huge wins there. But losing to Freo by 11 points, for example, losing to the Pies, losing to who else did they lost? They lost to the Lions.
They were very stiff to lose to the Pies, to be fair.
I was going to say the Pies one is the one that I wanted to bring
that was
out.
umpiring bad.
Yeah, that was horrendous.
And they didn't have Bont. That's why I'm always thinking, right, this team hasn't hit full potential yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could argue as well that this team hasn't had enough time. Once they all do come together, they won't have enough time or to properly gel. But I don't think that's going to be a problem when talent is that obvious and that good when it comes to someone like Sam Darcy. He's just got the talent. He's got the special it factor about a game to break a game open.
Yep.
Add that to the fact that the Dogs' rotation within the midfield may be the best rotation you could get.
Just
you gotta
about.
think Ed Richards can go middle or
forgot
off the back line. We talked about Chalor
Unbelievable.
being skew-if, but Fraser's been doing that. Bont, we forget, people have said his forward craft has been the best it's ever been this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Internally, at least.
Yeah.
Liver, he's not only improved as a player this year and improved in all that sense, he's become a proper leader this year.
Yes.
With Bont having to step out for a bit and then the occasional game where he's injured. Liver has basically embodied that club, much like his father. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they've got so much to work with.
I still won't forget that rundown tackle he had on the wing a few weeks ago when he caught, was it Brad Hill that he caught on the wing?
Hill, yeah.
That was such a ripper run, unbelievable. So shout out to him. Do we want to change the battery or something? Or is it all good? All right, no worries. Then we move to the next game on Friday night. For the first time, it was dream time at the G. And I think it definitely put a lot of people to sleep and they were dreaming before halftime because it really was
I saw that tweet. That was good.
very far from entertaining in any way, shape or form. It was almost comical how bad the skill errors were. But then again, that's not worth staying up for.
I'll tell you what, though. Zach Merritt, for me, was the best player of the round.
Round?
Because he's been so consistently that one person who brings Essendon over the line. You can argue that it's not as, impactful because the way he's doing it against North, he's doing it against West Coast, he's doing it against Richmond. They're not fantastic teams, but at the same time, I've never seen a man so consistently be able to rally the troops in a time of crisis like Essendon would continuously find themselves in like that.
Yeah.
He had a down week last week. He's responded fantastically. I think a lot of people may look at Nick Martin just because his numbers jump at you, but Zach Merritt was not that far off.
Merritt sets the tone.
And especially because in those crunch time minutes, especially in the fourth quarter, they like to play him a bit back, almost as like a spare man off. Mm-hmm. And he will not only control the pace of the game from the back line, he will then accurately deliver into the forward line. And it's just something that Essendon barely have.
Yeah.
I think Martin's the only one who I could really say on the other end is up there with Merritt. But Merritt is just so levels above. I think he's up there for Brownlow. You mentioned Bailey Smith before. Zach Merritt, I think is another name to look out for because he is breaking these games open.
I think the key with Bailey Smith and Zach Merritt is the fact that they aren't going to get many votes off others as well, which is what makes them such strong Brownlow contenders. So, Zach Merritt feels like he's just a few wins away from getting one, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. Because if they do lose a few, obviously that's going to hurt his chances of getting
he'll get
more
36
votes.
touches and kick 2 goals, but they
On
get
a losing
smashed by
side and
70 and
he gets
they
one
don't
vote.
get any vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he had it against Adelaide in round 2 or something where he had like 40 disposals and 4 goals.
Yeah, and he's not going to get
But
in.
we lost by 60 points
Yeah.
because they kicked 160. Like realistically, how many votes is he going to get for
Yeah.
that? You know, so yeah, it's a bit unfortunate like that. We love our skipper. Definitely carries us on his shoulders for sure. Wish some more players go along with him, but a lot of the time though, it's out of your hands when you've got an injury list the size of the Flemington Straight. We definitely need an independent review into our strength and conditioning because I've said that we're cursed and the hangar is cursed, and to this point,
It feels like it's been like this for 10 years.
yeah,
Like,
and that's how long we've been at the hangar for.
Have you changed your fitness boss and strength and conditioning coaches, or are your players just injury prone and there's nothing you can do about it? Or
Well, ACLs
ACLs, Achilles,
and Achilles
can't do much about that.
Can't do much about that.
Yeah,
Hamstring awareness and tightness and tears, calves, quads,
Ridley,
all that
Parrish.
jazz. Like all of them happen to be 190 plus centimeters as well. Is the thing.
you've got 4 players available. I believe I saw over 190 plus.
For the whole list.
Yeah, 4 for the whole list. So
And Ben Mackay is out this week as well,
Yes.
confirmed.
Caddy,
saw
Goldstein.
You're not missing much with
Yeah.
Goldstein.
Well,
and
thank God we have him
Yeah, to be
at the moment because both Brian and Draper went down.
Oh, well,
So
you
thank
don't
God
have
we
Draper for the
him.
rest of the year.
Yeah, we don't have Brian for the rest of the year.
Well, you
Yeah.
don't have Goldstein anymore from what it sounds
he
like.
basically set himself up to be a coach for the year. And I was like, oh,
Correct.
Oh, awesome. Now I get a few more games. I'll
get
be
rid of the
jolly.
walking stick. I'm back, gents. So, yeah, it's going to be very unlucky for Essendon, and I'm not really sure. Well, luckily the mid-season draft is this week. So,
Yes.
I heard something like you're using 4 picks.
Yeah, we got 4 picks.
Gee,
And
that's
I think we're
easily
gonna-
the record.
We're going to
And-
pick 4 rucks.
And we're going to use all 4 rucks. And we're going to use all 4 of those picks. And the crazy thing is, we are so depleted. We are asking the AFL to
Can we get a 5th?
to allow us to fly whoever we draft on Wednesday night. Just fly them straight over to Brisbane for the Thursday night game because they might actually
All right.
play the day after.
All right, mate. Screw the club
there's-
tour. Get to the ground. We're getting some warm-ups in.
Yeah,
I
100%.
feel like you just have to cop it on the chin because the last thing, if I'm messing, the last thing I'm doing is getting 4 guys that are underprepared to fly to Brisbane and play a game of AFL football 24 hours later. It's like,
Just don't send anyone up. Just just send a white flag
Yeah, can you do a
up to
forfeit?
Brisbane. Can we
you
do
do
a forfeit? And just say, sorry, we don't have enough players to play this week.
Yep.
We'll give you an automatic win. We'll give you a generous margin of 50 points.
Realistically, the smartest way about doing it is just send up all your young blokes.
yeah.
You just send
Well,
all
that's
your
all
young
we
blokes.
got.
Get them some experience.
That's all we got.
That's all you got, man.
Unfortunately, that's all we got. So
Well, you can't go out putting out damn near 40-year-old Todd Goldstein this week. So, you just put out the young guys. And
Goldie, just put your feet up, crack yourself a cold one. Don't worry about flying
Speaking of
up.
cold one.
Yeah,
Well,
don't worry about it.
Essendon are making well, they have no other choice. They are having another debutant this week.
Yeah,
Is
Zach
it,
Johnson.
can I get the name? Is it Zach Johnson?
Johnson.
Yep, Zach Johnson. So best of luck to him.
Why were you confused about that?
No, because I wanted to nail the name because I remembered it off the top of my head and I nearly remembered. So, but I did. Thanks to Joe.
You're welcome.
Yep, anytime.
I'm here to help.
What's his
how informative
height?
we all are.
what
we
we
all
do.
help each other out. This is good.
What's his height?
No, not 190. And
So
I-
he's safe.
he's safe. And I had to look at Angus Clark.
Angus Clark was fantastic.
You're playing him as a key forward.
Angus Clark is 189.
That's close enough.
He's
That's
going to
close.
be the next Essendon hero, is what it sounds like.
He's the second ruck.
Angus Clark more like James Hurd at this
More
point.
like, yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm just like, please, Angus, whatever you do, just keep the buzz cuts going.
Could
do
you
not
imagine-
get to 190.
Could you
because if
imagine
do,
the
you're
reports?
gone.
The reports out of Essendon. So Angus Clark's been seen and heard to have had a growth spurt as of recently.
No,
no.
not the 190
He's
plus
got some
curse.
shin splints going on.
Yeah.
Oh, the poor bugger.
He's
doomed.
wearing high heels today.
Whatever you do, avoid milk, calcium, anything that could increase the size of your bones or whatnot, and always make sure that you've got the buzz cut going. We can't afford to have Angus
the buzz
Clark
cut.
hit the 190 centimeters at all at any
The
cost.
buzz cut is the bare minimum, mate. Just do that one and you're
Maybe
safe.
Essendon are just lying. Maybe he is 191 centimetres, but they're
That
just
could
lying
be
to
a
the
good
AFL.
shout too.
Of just like, no, he's 189. It's all safe, footy gods.
I was about to say, are you saying that the AFL are sanctioning hits like on the players? Like we're lying to the AFL. He's not 190. Like
He's not 190. I swear.
please don't kill our players. Oh, so speaking of killing players, Uncle Toby Green, he killed the Giant. He killed
I was wondering where that was going.
I thought, what about Richmond?
Speaking of killing players, my God.
Oh wait, I forgot to do the sound effects for the dream time.
Right.
Yes. Is that good?
Yep, that's beautiful.
You
Next
could
up.
have gone, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday.
We didn't talk about the Tigers.
There's something to say about the Tigers.
Lawler did his hamstring for 4 to
Why
6
would you
weeks.
want to bring that up? That's
Lawler's 4 to
sad.
6 out.
Yeah, well, it's a talking point, heaven forbid, Joe.
The Tigers are good. Their youth is great. No need to bring up the Lawler hamstring. That's sad.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Fair enough. I mean, they've got positives though.
They got
At the end
heaps of
the day,
positives.
They're a gritty young side. I'll tell you what. I've not seen them give up in a game just yet.
Yep.
No.
I've not seen them give up once.
Never.
Which is great to see because they very easily could be a team getting smacked by 100 each week, but they've got a lot of grit. They've got a lot of heart. So
Yep.
They're risk head and shin.
when Noah Bolter isn't told to go to bed on certain games, he ends up helping them out too. And
Yeah.
you got a little bit of leadership in there too. I mean, nothing too crazy, but at the same time,
Yeah.
there's some triple premiership players
Yeah,
in there.
Nank, Broad, others.
Man, thank God Nank was rested. Because honestly,
Oh yeah, he didn't even play.
like Nank, they just saw old gold and thought, Samson Ryan, you'll be right. It's only just shadow grandpa for the day and you'll be right.
Should have brought in ruck coach Ivan Maric.
Not a bad shout. Not a bad
Should have
shout.
been primed
One
early
game
2010s
contract.
sort of clash right there.
Battle of the Titans. The Battle of the Titans of the ruck coaches. Marriage versus Goldie.
That's good.
That's very good. Well done, Steve-O. But
Yeah.
back to what I was saying. Shout out to Uncle Toby for killing the Blues on his own. Solo effort. 250th game. He honestly had, 28 disposals and kicked 3 goals, 3.
That's fantastic. From what we've seen so far this year, we haven't seen many games like that. And obviously Jesse Hogan's been the one that's taken most of the excitement.
Yeah.
So the fact that Toby has managed to do that at probably the perfect time.
Yes, indeed.
Career-wise, greatest Giant ever so far.
Yep.
Yeah, just a fantastic effort.
He's one of the best I've seen. I know that seems like an overstatement, but he genuinely has. I've loved his whole career.
Yep.
I love the way he goes about it. He's been one of the best captains over the last few years in the AFL, and he really sets a tone for the Giants. So good to watch.
Underrated
So
captain.
good to watch. He'll go down as underrated because he played for the Giants, but
Yep.
yeah, he's an unbelievable footballer. One of the best I've seen because I've seen the whole career of Toby Green, and he's been unbelievable. So played a
have
bit
we.
more of a midfield role as well. So filled a gap there with a couple of injuries there. So
28 posies, he's definitely doing his
yeah,
job.
3 goals, smashed the Blues.
Not everyone will get James Hird coming up to their rooms pre-game and talk about how great they are. So
No.
He did that?
James Hird was in the rooms, yeah.
Yeah, Hirdy.
On you, Hirdy. So yeah, he absolutely tore him apart in a time of great need because they are missing quite a few players, A-graders in their midfield. So he had to play a bit more around the ball, and that's why I tipped the Blues not to lose because I thought, this is a great time to get GWS with all their injuries, playing at home.
Poor form from the Giants over
Yeah,
recent
their
weeks.
loss to
Form.
Fremantle made me think that this was going Blues' way.
Yep.
And it's just another scenario where the Blues just give up a chance that they really had.
Yep.
Plenty of times already this season. So Blues fans, I know for a fact, are absolutely spewing at the fact that they didn't get this one. And my question all week with this team has been because they're surprisingly comparable to last year's Brisbane Lions. Not in the sense of the success at the end.
I see it.
But their game, the way they play.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Lee Montagna at one point had analysed the way that they played in terms of, rankings, in terms of pace, in terms of inside forward targets, whatever that may be. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head, but all I know is there are very comparable statistics to the way they play or the way Brisbane started the year off. But obviously, Brisbane had a really poor start and
Yes.
picked it up and beat teams over and over again and kept their season alive. This is just not helping them. I do not believe that this. I think there is something like wrong with the core of the club at this point.
Yeah.
If they want to copy Brisbane, they shouldn't be copying the start of the season Brisbane. They should be copying end of season Brisbane.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because the thing with Carlton is I don't think they've been that bad. Like, they're in most of the games.
Yes.
They just... It's just this thing of fading away in the second half. And it just seems to be a similar story with each week when it comes to their losses. And it's... They're there, but they're not there. They just aren't good enough at the minute. And I can see it turning around. Like, I'm fairly certain their next month is very generous.
Yes.
In terms of fixture-wise. So people will rule out the Blues. I won't just yet because we could easily be saying in a month's time, Carlton are 8 and 7. Like, it's that easy of a run. It's like North, West Coast. Bombers, given their injury situation, and I believe Port. So they could very easily be 8 and 7 and just be, yeah.
But champion data at the start of the season had Carlton as having the third easiest fixture for the year.
Yeah, but then they go ahead and lose to teams like Richmond in round 1. So it's like you get given the opportunity. It's why I'll never really...
That's why you got to take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's why I'll never really get angry at teams, especially this year, because every single team has had a down game, it feels like.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to tell a team or tell people if your team has an easy schedule, it's a blight against you. No, you still have to win those games.
Correct.
As much as we can bash the lower teams in the competition, they can bring it any given game. We've seen it now with a draw between North and Brisbane. We've seen it with Richmond beating Carlton.
The Eagles
in round
beating
1.
the Saints.
Eagles beat the Saints, depending on how you see the Saints. But then again, Saints beat Geelong. So there's so many ways that it can change, and everyone has their down games, but it feels like Carlton have just missed their opportunity time and time and time again.
Yep.
First 3 that I think of, always Richmond, then the Dogs, where they blew that one, and now the one against GWS in poor form. They've just lost it. They drop these opportunities way too often for a team with that much talent.
Yeah. And they need to reshape after the bye. They got the bye this week. They need to reshape. They need to regroup. And they need to start firing now.
Yep.
And their next month of fixtures should put them in a good position to be battling into that 8th spot. Because the thing going Carlton's way is that 8th spot is a bit higgledy-piggledy at the minute. So if they can just start rolling, because I keep saying they're a momentum side. They haven't really shown it this year, but if they can get that rolling, then
they showed it by beating the Cats.
Yeah, they did, and then who'd they play the week after that?
They stalled.
Then they stalled. Then they beat the
Adelaide,
Saints.
right? Adelaide.
Yeah, they got spanked by Adelaide.
Yeah.
So just their bottom 8 best 22 players just aren't quite where it needs to be compared to some of the elite sides. And we talk about their best 8 players, and my God, they are great players.
Yes.
But it certainly takes 23 very solid footballers to be right up the top, and Carlton aren't there yet, list-wise.
And that's why I'm not completely doom and gloom about the Bombers in terms of their development moving forward, because you can only beat who's in front of you, and obviously we are not a top 8 caliber side, but we haven't dropped a game to a team that we were supposed to win thus far. Yeah. It's not like what Carlton have done by giving up those opportunities. Yes, we haven't won by much.
I was going to say, I think that's the
teams.
reason people are so iffy with Essendon, because North by 3, Eagles by 2.
Yeah, very close as well.
And then Richmond, look, bigger margin, and definitely looked the better team on the night, but still not convincing enough. And you guys were in the 8 with 80%.
Yeah, it's horrific.
So you're taking advantage of these easier games, but not by much.
I know. It's for us, just simply getting wins is a big enough deal. But then again, you guys drew with Brisbane.
Exactly.
And so us beating you, for me, is a tick, because it's a game where when any team's up and about, they can do it. West Coast, they were competitive against Brisbane as well for a long time. They easily dealt with the Saints. And I think a lot of people at the start of the season would have probably had the Saints ahead of us because of where we are with our rebuild and starting off, things like that. So yes, we're not winning by a lot, and when we lose, we're losing by a lot. But this was never supposed to be a challenging year for us. This was always supposed to be a rebuilding year, don the tank, trading in, getting draft picks. We've got Melbourne's first. It was looking good, not looking so good anymore. Blues again, Melbourne. This is not good.
No, it's been a
Bloody
very
hell,
unfortunate.
what's going on?
You know who actually is on the good side of that now? Because there are so many teams in that situation. Richmond have our pick.
Yep.
You've got Melbourne's pick.
Yep.
Guess who's got Port's pick?
Oh.
You'll hate this.
No. Not Carlton. And it's not Collingwood either.
It's Gold Coast.
It's Gold Coast.
Gold Coast right now have the 4th pick.
Oh, isn't that because of the loquacious?
Precocious trade.
Oh my! That no one's talking about it because
is
Gold
so-
Coast has it.
It is so like unlikely. No one saw Port being at this point, and we'll probably go to talk about them a bit more. But the amount of talent that Gold Coast has,
They're stacked.
NGA as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know,
now the 4th pick at this point. My God, if they don't win a premiership within, I mean, I'll give them a big a decade. This team should be winning a premiership.
No, a
soon.
decade's too long.
the AFL putting themselves
does
in
feel
that
like that.
situation, and well, you know exactly what Gold Coast are going to do. They're going to that pick's available for someone
the
to
Nepo
grab.
baby.
Yeah, the Nepo babies, and they're just going to trade it for pick 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, so they can match academy bids.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's probably what's going to happen.
So pick 4 currently would be on the table.
Well, they want Zeke Hewland.
Well, he's looking like top 3, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the one that they're going to want. He's from their academy. I just can't believe that. I can't believe how under the radar that trade fell. Because Gold Coast, I was very critical with the Melbourne trade.
Yeah.
Because you've just helped out Essendon's rebuild a hell of a lot.
Yep.
That is so much worse.
Yeah,
That is so much worse. And part of it's not even Port's fault. Lukosius just got hurt for the season. So, he's not able to help them. The team itself is struggling to find form. I cannot believe Gold Coast looked like they're going to get better. Honestly, for 12, 13 years of disappointment, yeah, sure.
We were talking
Give
about
them a
this
couple
last
years.
year. We were talking about it last year, and I literally said on the bench in there, they're doing renovations in there, and hence why we're not in the locker room. But I said it last year, guys, I fear that Gold Coast are about to enter their golden era, and that this enjoy the shit times while we got them. Because we're not going to see shit Gold Coast anymore.
I miss when Gold Coast were awful.
I said it last year. I said, guys, be careful. The Suns are coming, and we're not going to see shit Gold Coast anymore. And they're in the top 4 now.
I was going to say it's top 4 now, but it's happened so dramatically now.
Yeah.
And I guess credit to Damien Hardwick. I think he's seen it from the beginning. Do you remember the quote where he said, we've got 80% of the Richmond dynasty here?
Yes.
That is looking more and more true by the time.
Then add Noble, they add Rioli.
Yep.
These are 2 great acquisitions into their back line to get their ball movement, supplementing the key defensive work that Collins does because he's an absolute legend. They obviously have still a gun trio in that midfield mix with Rao, Anderson, Miller, Swallow, just good depth as well.
Swallow could play finals finally.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Wits in the ruck, one of the best tap ruckmen going around.
Yep.
Tapping into going to the forward line. Ethan Reed is a man mountain. King, the better King.
Walter.
Sorry, Saints. Walter.
Yep.
It is very scary for
Long,
teams coming up
again,
against Gold
sorry,
Coast.
Saints. Long as well, popping off.
Try to win in the next couple of years before Gold Coast gets some finals experience.
Yeah, that is, definitely
You've
good
got
shout.
2 AFL clubs. You've got 2 years to win a flag. Otherwise, you're rooted.
Say that again.
And I didn't get to say my blue and giant.
Oh,
That's
God.
right. What are we going to do for the Blues?
And then giants.
Okay,
Big,
that
big
one's
sound?
okay.
Yeah.
That one's okay.
But what's the Blues one supposed to mean?
What's the colour? What do I expect? What do you
So like
expect?
Brewers and cold.
I don't know. Blue.
Just. I handed you a life raft and you just no.
He just pulled out pins and just I am not taking this. Oh
I sent out the life raft to help you out there. And it's just like no.
I've got it.
Watch this.
Hold my beer.
But yeah, we went on a tangent about Gold Coast in a game against. What was the game we ended up trying to talk about there?
Who knows? We'll just go with the, just go
keep
with the
going.
flow. Just go with the flow.
Just keep going.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh, do you mean to do a hawk and a lion?
What are you going to do for Crow?
Shit, that's terrifying stuff, Steve.
If you did that for a hawk, what are you doing for a crow?
You guys didn't have headphones on, did you? No. A crow. We'll get
Don't do it again.
There's a few birds I have to get through.
Just keep doing the same noise.
Wait, what was the hawk again?
See, that's a crow.
Bro, that's a crow, clear as day.
I don't know. There's not much of
more
a difference.
no, it's more of a screeching sound.
That's
More of a cat, but sure, a dying.
No,
cat,
we're gonna take
but
that.
We'll take.
We're
it.
gonna take that.
Talk about your hawks, mate.
Oh, well.
They're almost doing as bad as your sound effects.
Yeah, no, we might be doing as bad. We can't beat anyone good. We're pretenders. We're frauds until proven otherwise. That's how I see it. We're currently just an average team. We're not bad. We're not good. We're just average. We're in that 7th to 10 range, fighting it out with GWS, Freo, Carlton, Melbourne for the last 2 spots at the minute. We've had our easy run, so I think we got no more Richmond, no more West Coast, no more Essendon.
Get us.
Yeah, we get. Yeah, all right.
There's
so
one in there.
We might win one more game. Nah.
Jeez.
I think for you, it's more a lot of players underperforming
Yeah.
where they were last year.
Yeah, so
And you're also missing Will Day.
Will
Big time.
Day, our midfield is rooted without Will Day.
I'm very surprised that's the case. I really thought that your midfield would pick up.
I thought
where
we
it
were
was.
past that. I thought we were past how reliant Will Day was, but clearly not. And having him so unreliable, it really sucks. But yeah, most of the guys underperforming to what they're capable of. And yeah, we desperately need Deer back and Lewis back. That really helps our structure.
What happened to him? He went up to
just
Northern Territory.
That was the stupidest thing I've
and
ever
then
seen.
when he come back here, he
a
not play.
19-year-old key forward with a back injury.
I was gonna say,
and
he
you
keeps
send him
getting
to
injured.
Darwin. Of course, that isn't going to be the greatest of
Correct.
conditions. So, and then Box Hill played on Saturday. Do you even play him on a 6-day break? I don't know. So, yeah, Impey should be back this week, but even he's been underperforming. There's been too many guys that have been underperforming. And yeah, they're going to have to think of something quick because going to need to bring the mouth guards to training.
Because your
week.
midfield, the issues with your midfield were evident even from round 1 when you played against us. Like, yeah, you beat us. You got the jump on us in the first quarter. You obviously had the game before. You were match hardened. We didn't. We came out very rusty, and you hit the ground running and took advantage, and you held us at bay for the rest of the game. But after that game, Sam Mitchell said that there would have been a lot that we, Essendon, would have been happy with because we genuinely won the midfield battle. And he said that it's not sustainable for your boys to be able to win lots of games moving forward with such deficit in the midfield.
Yeah.
And so that was broadcast right from round 1, and now we've come here to round 10, and the midfield problems are still
hasn't
there.
improved whatsoever. So, yeah, a lot of thinking music, especially if Warple decides to go as well. That would hurt because I think he's been one of the only midfielders for us that's been consistent and held his form from last year. So, Mackenzie hasn't taken that step just yet. He was looking good early.
He was.
Josh Ward's just really plateaued. So they got some stuff to think about. Nash out of form. Newcomb can have some great games.
McDonald was great.
Yeah.
McDonald, that was a shining light because he's been a little bit been playing through a bit of injury, so it was good to see him have a good game.
I think it was a story of 2 halves for him, though. He was really good in the first half.
Yeah,
And then
just
disappeared
faded.
a little in the second.
Yeah, agree. Darcy Fort smashed Meek in the ruck. He
was
smashed him.
Insane.
And
That's a grand...
and he did pretty well against Gorn.
Premiership
Premiership
Ruckman.
Ruckman. Exactly.
Sorry, Premiership Ruckman Darcy
Put
Fort.
respect on that name.
The Rhino Fort. Remember
Yeah,
my nickname from last year?
That sounds sick.
Yeah, the Rhino Fort. It's the nasal spray that I have.
Yeah, and he charged straight through Meek on the weekend.
I thought there was like a really cool backstory to it.
No.
Nothing cool
It's-
about nasal spray.
It's just my prescribed nasal spray.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
The Premiership Ruckman Rhino Fort.
Yeah, one of my
cool.
favourites was Brendan Whitecross, the Whitecross bun.
That's nice. That's nice. That's cute. But you know what's not cute though? James Sicily's form.
Yep. Yeah, it's been really poor. Like, yeah, it's been bad.
I cringe every time he gets the ball. It's like Brent Renouf gets the ball now. Every time he gets it.
What's happened to him? This is the biggest fall of grace I've ever seen.
He's in VFL form. He genuinely is. And one-on-one, he's fine. Like, he's still doing fine one-on-one, but he can't run. Apparently, he's playing through a groin issue. So, I don't know just why we're playing him.
Exactly.
And his kicking. Oh, my God.
He couldn't hit the beach if he was kicking it from the bloody shore.
Yeah, just these one-step lazy kicks and just, this will do. And it won't do. Goes to an opposition player. So
She'll be right.
Yeah,
It's not right.
I love El Capitano, but he's just having an absolute mare this year and need him to turn it around quickly because...
Do you think it's worth... Sorry to interrupt. Do you think he's worth switching from back to forward? Because he did do a little bit of that in the start of the season?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's he needs some time in VFL? Because that's very, very dangerous to do with your captain.
We won't.
Because North didn't even do that with
Elmac.
Elmac. North didn't do that with Elmac, and he is...
And he probably
Interesting. I
should've.
love Elmac. Don't get me wrong. He wears the club on his sleeve.
I see it.
But
Yep.
he was a co-captain for a period with North, and they would just never drop him.
I don't think they're
don't think
putting...
Sicily will either.
Yeah, I don't think they're putting him in the VFL, but maybe he has to switch forward because his mistakes are really bad in the defensive 50. They're not as bad if he's in the forward 50. So, yeah, I'd probably have a look at doing that. I think it's probably time. Like, we recruited Barris, Battle to cover Sicily, and Battle's been fantastic this season for us. He's been one of the shining lights. Carl Amon as well. He's been outstanding. Barris has been good at moments. Like, he's got a really good mark. Looks a bit slow, but he's been solid enough.
He's just a Hulk, isn't he?
He's doing his
He is
job.
a Hulk.
He's doing his job.
He eats 3 jars of Vegemite every day. Like, just...
How many
the way it
weekniks
goes
do you
about.
do? Yeah, that's cute. He just does 30.
Yeah, he lifts 3 jars of Vegemite and eats them. Like, he's just an absolute Hulk. Absolutely.
In one hand.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
lifts them.
Yeah, no, I love TB. Love TB.
God. Some of the words that you're using for description. I love it. This is fantastic.
Yeah, you only get this on Fancast, so
Yeah,
don't need to
that's-
watch anything else. Except watch his podcast.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
And subscribe to SCS Supercoach. Anyway,
Put all of it in there. Put all of it in.
said-
We'll leave it to the end.
On the flip side,
outstanding from Brisbane.
outstanding. They're back. Are they back?
I think they were
I
never
don't think
gone.
they ever left.
Yeah, I think just 2 down game. Like, it's all credit really to the 2 teams they played against. I think I genuinely believe North outplayed Brisbane in their game against Tassie,
I agree.
and then of course Melbourne had a fantastic final quarter against Brisbane. I think there are a few things to highlight, and they've turned it around very quickly. It's what premiership contenders do, and it's what premiers do. They find a way to win.
Every
in
team
any
goes
way.
through. Every team goes through a rough patch, and Brisbane. It was just a little rough patch for them. Just a little hurdle they couldn't get over for that 2-game stretch. But now they're looking good again. Charlie Cameron.
Wow.
He gave me a headache in that second quarter, kicking 3 in a row. Country Road in my head,
Bang,
just
bang,
ringing
bang.
in my
At the MCG, and you can still hear it. Just
Country Road, just ringing in my frontal lobe. For that entire second quarter,
Take
it was
me home,
doing my
please.
head in.
Take me home.
Oh, thank God that wasn't at the Gabba. I would have.
put the game on mute and just watch in silence.
I would have disliked the music video on YouTube. That's what I would have done.
Oh, nice. Now that he was itching. He was craving for a bag, wasn't he?
That's what Charlie Cameron does, man.
That's what he
That's
does,
what he
man.
does. And the likes of Cam Rayner had a similar burst.
Yep.
It was pretty much the Brisbane that we expected.
Yep.
Outside of the last 2 weeks.
With Ashcroft's Will.
Yep.
Yeah,
Levi.
both the Ashcrofts. The thing is, they're so good, but they don't need to play over the top. They don't need to have the ball in their hands all the time. And that's why I think Brisbane is so scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
That much talent on their team. And like they're getting possessions, but they're not outstanding on the field, but they are very good on any other team. They'd be outstanding anywhere else. So Brisbane is still one to keep a lookout for in terms of premiership favourites.
Yeah.
Just overall, I mean, the only downside I think that entire game was Dane Zorko. Did you see some of his kicks? Did you see some of Dane Zorko's kicks?
He's prone,
I did, and I cheered.
Yeah. He's prone to that sometimes, but he's pretty aggressive with his ball.
I was going to say, outside of that was a beautiful game from Brisbane.
because it felt
Yep.
like potentially there was a question whether or not the Lions were going to be a bit more vulnerable in their forward line without Joey Danaher in there to help out Eric Hipwood. But Morris has
Logan Morris has just stepped up.
unbelievable, hasn't he?
And I still think they're a little bit vulnerable without Danaher now.
Absolutely.
But like that, but potentially Oscar Allen next year. So they'll be excited for that. So they'll fill the void. But Logan Morris has stepped up really well. He doesn't get the recognition Eric Hipwood just due to his reputation.
Correct.
But
He's better
I
than
think he's
Eric.
doing such a
Eric.
good job for the team.
Yeah.
Getting the ball to ground for the smalls to attack.
This is Eric?
Eric Hipwood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
my tip, I had Eric Hipwood in third for my Coleman.
Did
My
you?
Coleman predictions. That has not looked good. Logan Morris, Charlie Cameron, I think they're all doing better than him. But like,
He's
at
doing
same
the team thing.
Yeah, at the same time, I mean, you could say it's the team thing.
Yeah.
But you are right in the sense that he's at least creating a contest. And I think
Yep.
that's a very undervalued asset when you are a tall forward or a target forward.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to one-on-one grab it every time. You are going to play against guys like Sam Taylor, who are just that good, who will just take the ball to ground every single time. But as long as you can create the contest, that's a value in itself.
Yep.
Well, he's done a lot of teamwork, team first stuff. This week, he is going to reap the rewards. He's playing against Jaden Laverty because we've got no backline this week. So
You haven't checked the injury report in an hour. Maybe just check before
Yeah,
to make sure that Laverty's playing.
Yeah, like,
How tall's Laverty?
Actually, he might
I
not
wanna
be
think
190, you
about
know.
Sorry?
Is Laverty 190? I reckon it's just a
189 and a
I reckon
half,
it's
I've
just a
heard.
big Hulk at 189.
Jaden Laverde.
He could be 189 and a half. Let's hope so.
Mr. Laverde is 1.93.
So it's 5.
Oh, no. Who have you got left?
No one.
Oh,
Hey, Essendon, I'm not
thank
190.
goodness you're not playing Adelaide this week.
Essendon, I'm not 190. My phone's always at the ready if you really need someone like just to get a random. I bleed red and black.
That's it.
Mostly red, but you get the idea.
You
But
wear your heart, you wear your team on your sleeve, and that could be better than some of the players.
could be, but this, geez, Brisbane coming back into ripping hot form. We're coming off a 5-day break with the injury list that we've got, potentially flying up some debutants straight off them from the mid-season draft. We could be seeing 120 to 150 on the cards here for a win for them this weekend.
Might be a movie night for you Thursday night.
Might be, yeah. Exactly. When do we play them again?
Yeah,
Thursday
whack on
night.
Fast and Furious.
Thursday night. Yeah, let's
Gonna
not.
spend a night out in the city.
Yeah,
Hit the bar.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Oh, it will be. I think a lot of Essendon supporters everywhere are just going to be having a drinking game. Take a shot every time Brisbane kick a goal. Your boys now. It's been a long time coming. Gee, you guys played late in the week. So, how did you find your game? Because you were really competitive until you weren't.
Yeah, no, and that's probably a good way of putting it. In my kind of initial thoughts, I was just like, oh, come on. We can't let Dacos get that much space, that much room. But you also have to consider that they did keep him to 10 disposals in that first half. That first half was really, really good. Again, the signs, I thought, this is probably a game we could get. The rest, the Maynard injury, the fact that they had so many young players trying to fill roles. Probably one of my biggest surprises was how solid Billy Frampton was.
I know. Premiership player.
Player,
William
Billy Frampton.
Frampton. There you go.
That's it. But
Kept Harris Andrews goalless in that grand final.
kept Harris Andrews. Good on him. Well done.
Goalless.
He had a role to play. to limit his influence. He still had a game high for intercept marks, but he did his role.
No goals. That's
No
all.
goals.
No
Didn't
goals.
impact the scoreboard, and maybe that's the most important part of it all.
Indeed.
But I think the most of the credit for this one goes to Craig McRae, because the way that they flipped it so quickly to start that second half, it went from a 9-point lead to North to like immediately 5 to 11 points, something like that, within the first 5 minutes of the quarter. It was such a quick switch up, and it was very clear something had changed. They had worked out what North was doing, and funny enough, North have a pretty low average for marks and uncontested marks. They pretty much got their average before halftime. So they were clearly trying to draw Collingwood out, trying to play some safe football, and it was working. But as soon as it started going Collingwood's way, as soon as they started pushing the ball, making things happen, their pressure lifted, you could see Collingwood's eyes just go, we've got it.
We're on here.
I knew Jamie Elliott was going to have a good game. I just knew it. I put him in all my fantasy teams because I'm like, this is the type of game for him. But North did give it a red hot crack for 3 quarters. But I always see from fans, and I'm one of those people, I love it when we can put a full 4-quarter game together, because it barely ever happens. Even the win against Melbourne, you could say it mainly came from the last quarter.
That last quarter was champagne stuff.
I have not seen that type of North display in so long. It made me so happy. I didn't even get to watch the game. I was just watching the app going, how is this happening? But this game in particular showed me that there's still a long way to go. I mean, I don't think North fans were ever under the idea that this was going to be the change, but like we were saying some crazy stuff. Sonia Hood, the club president, was saying, I guarantee this is a win. I'm like, let's pump the brakes. Let's hold up just a tad bit.
Yeah.
I felt
we
like
will win.
And I had people telling me, I think North have a sniff this week. I'm like, I really don't think so.
No, you had a sniff.
I was quite
You had
happy.
a sniff.
I
You
was
had a
quite
sniff.
happy with how they played, and I don't think the final score told the full story.
No.
So disappointing. I nearly got it dead on. I said Collingwood by 60. I did not have much faith. And Collingwood by 45 is only because they had a poor end. That's literally all it was. So
It's someone to us on
Goods and
Anzac Day.
bads.
Like,
Goods
we
and
took it
bads.
up to him, I felt like, on Anzac Day.
Yep.
But the thing with the Pies and every other good team is that they do run out and they do play the full 4 quarters.
They don't
are-
stop.
How often did the Premiership Hawks find junk time goals at the end of games to just blow it out of proportion? Even though it might have been a close game, but it's like the last 5 minutes.
You've put me in a good headspace.
You
Give me a
almost,
sec.
I felt bad for you. I had to bring you up again. You were calling your team frauds, mate. And you were making some weird sound effects too. So I had to bring you back with some happiness.
Okay.
These best teams, they almost look forward to red time because they know that's when the other team sort of lulls a little
That's
bit.
spot on.
And they just like, time to fill up our boots here. We're going to kick 10 goals.
yeah, well, you could argue that Collingwood didn't give a full game. That first half, letting North take a lead and go into halftime with a lead. You could say as a Collingwood fan, right, lucky we played a fantastic second half.
Yeah.
But I do truly believe that they just took what they had got, worked out from there. All right, we're still in this game. We've given ourselves a chance. This is where we're being beaten. Halftime, all got together, worked it out, and then smashed North. Like legitimately, like a complete different team came out in that second half. And
It was speed.
it shows how good. I couldn't give more credit to how Collingwood is run.
Yep.
And how their structure is, because I love teams that go with the next man up mentality. The Dogs have it at the moment. The Pies have it. And you could argue Brisbane, they've got some young guys who can come in and fill roles. But there's plenty of teams out there where it doesn't matter if Pendlebury goes down with illness or Bobby Hill goes out. Ned Long comes in and takes a bigger role. Billy Frampton comes in and has his type of game, right? Jamie Elliott steps up and kicks 5. Like, that is a premiership DNA type performance. And yeah, it goes to show that the best teams out there only win if they know how to win in multiple ways.
Yes.
You cannot win with only one game plan, and I think that's what North tried to do. So it worked for one half. As soon as Collingwood changed it up, didn't know how to act to it. Yeah. So honestly, there's positives to take from both sides.
Yes.
From both sides. So it's not often you get games like that. I just always think, right, we don't have good draft picks this year. So this year has to be a year where we win every game we possibly can. It's not like other years where it's like, at least we get a good draft pick. No, that is done. We do not
lock trade.
Yeah, exactly. That
How
poor bloke.
how are you feeling about that at
That
this
poor
point?
bloke. I honestly feel the worst for him because the amount of pressure on that man's shoulders, that is a lot of pressure to put on a second rounder to trade your next year's first.
Yeah.
You probably could have gotten away with trading next year's second.
Yes.
I want to know that. I want to see how that negotiation went down because there's no way you were convincing yourself that North Melbourne were going to make the 8 this year. There's just no way.
Because apparently it was a deep draft, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it was considered a deep draft, pretty top heavy, but
Yeah.
a deep draft nonetheless.
Yep.
I just think the amount of pressure that kid has now, especially because we got Foss, we had the 2 pick.
yeah.
I know that we were looking for players to kind of fill key position roles, so like key forwards, key defenders,
Yeah.
especially key defenders, but for a second rounder, pick 25 or 27, I think he was. Just insane amount of pressure for the poor bloke. So I did unfortunately see this coming. As soon as I saw the trade happen, I'm like, this is not going to go well. But I mean, I just hope it feeds more into this idea within the club that we just need a win. We need to stop worrying about whether we tank the season out or whether we see how far we can push it. We need to just get to the point where winning is a part of our club's DNA again, and it just hasn't been for the last. How long ago was 2016?
9 years ago.
Oh God, dear God, 9 years. Oh,
Yeah, my
that
mates
was the year he knocked us out, right? That was Drew Petrie.
2014.
That was 2014.
2014 was Frank the Tank.
Wow.
my mate,
Good times.
that long.
Good times. What annoys me the most about that time period is that we were the Western Bulldogs, or we had the chance to be the Western Bulldogs in 2016, 2 years in a row, outside of the top 4, made it to the prelim, and then got pumped. Nearly pipped West Coast in 2015.
Who was the coach back then?
Brad Scott.
Come on, Brad, take us there, please.
When Brad Scott signed to Essendon, I laughed so hard. The amount of talent he had on that North Melbourne team, right, and the amount of people who came in to work on that team. You had Dal Santo, you had Jared Waite come through, plenty of players who still had some juice in them. Had Brent Harvey, who could have kept playing. He really insisted on making this club young again.
Yeah.
And trying to get into that rebuild stage before we dragged on too long. But it did. I mean, we're here. It clearly hasn't worked. He sucked the winning out of our club. That's my legitimate thought on Brad Scott. He sucked the winning out of our club. And I don't think he's there yet with you, but you can feel it. You can feel it. You can blame injuries for some of it, but knowing that Brad Scott is your coach, I just know he's going to get to the point. When Brad Scott coached, I just knew the only game plan that he had was if it goes to defense, bomb it out as far as you can. That's all it was. And every time I watched
How many Essendon games have you been watching? That's exactly what we've been doing.
Exactly. That's what he was doing with North. And it feels like he has no defensive game plan sometimes. It is literally just get the ball, get out. Like that's all it is. So there's things that he can do well, but I've just never trusted the man since that 2016 season.
Yeah.
Especially because we had such a good run to start and then finished 7th or 8th and were out in the first round. That 2016 season really it changed the culture of this club.
So no trust in Brad Scott. Do we have any trust in Longmuir over there at Fremantle? Because they've now put together 2 good wins in a row.
I still don't trust him. I'm still struggling.
They
to
only
trust
won
him.
because they were Wallyup. Now that they're back to Fremantle again,
Yeah,
that's where...
Two different people there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
They're undefeated as Wallyup.
I guess
nice.
Yada
should just play that forever.
Poolty they've started the season 0-2. They got to pick it up.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Atapulti.
Well, they lost. They lost last week, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, I forgot. Yep.
They lost the free.
Yeah.
Wallyup.
Wally, yup. I still can't say. I still can't say. Wally, yup. Wally, yup.
No.
Wallalalup. No.
Wallyup.
Wally,
Just make the noise.
That's it.
Just make the noise. Just
All
make
right,
the
I'm
noise.
never saying it again because I nailed it.
You got it there. So
Whenever we're bringing up that name, you got to like have it on a button there or something like that.
No,
and just
Sir,
bang.
Sir Douglas Nichols' round is done now. We don't have to worry.
don't need it.
We don't have to worry about
All
that
right,
till
so
this time next
Dockers
year.
and Power. Go, make your sounds.
I'll do kangaroos.
No,
Collingwood.
kangaroos
thank you.
first, yes.
I don't know what a kangaroo sounds like.
Well, you're the one who said you want to do kangaroos.
You want to do sounds.
I thought you thought about it.
Scratch.
Sure.
because they got big claws.
Don't disrespect my team like that.
And Collingwood.
You could have done the boxing kangaroo at least.
Yeah, that's not a sound though.
Again, I tried giving you a lifeboat earlier, man.
okay.
I tried really hard, but you
could've
really
gone
wanted to go
this.
down this path.
I don't
Go
know.
on. There you go.
Hey, yeah, we'll take that.
And then a magpie.
Yeah, okay, that's decent. That's not bad. That's
Sound
probably
like
best
a
one yet.
pigeon, but we take it.
And then
A docker.
a power line and
Oh,
an
a
anchor.
power. Yes.
An anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, hitting the
Yep.
sand.
Like it. Yep. I can
And-
see it now.
Power.
Come on.
That's power.
Man, this montage is going to go off.
Don't. We might have to cancel the pod, you know. I don't think I can do it.
I see that montage.
I think we've
of
gotten all the
noises.
tough ones out of the way.
That's going to do some numbers.
Bro, you could have gone like with a thunderclap sound. What the hell is that?
It's
Some
like
drunken
it's like a
sailor
it's like
bullshit.
it's
It's
like
a really good
it's like a power
representation.
line. It's like a power line going out of whack.
It's a really
They've
good
fallen off.
representation of how the Power are playing.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Undescribable.
Agreed. Nah, the
Undescribable.
power- Yeah, nah. You can perfectly describe the power. They're just waiting for the car to pull up to take away Ken Hinckley, and along the way, it turns into a hearse because it is terrible right now. Port are just shambolic. Bring back the tarps. I can't believe.
I'm so glad people remember the tarp.
I can't believe they thought it would be a great idea with Zach Butters, considering his future, let's do a succession plan because succession plans are so successful, aren't they?
The successful succession plan. Can you say that?
Successful succession plan.
He's good. He's good.
How does well your look get you, but that
I like how
doesn't?
I'm being treated like a kindergartner.
I'm sorry, when I heard you're the one who insisted on making animal noises.
I didn't insist that, did I?
He has never met you, right? Reese has
that's
never
rude from a
met
guest.
you.
I'm sorry.
Reese
I
has-
apologize.
No, but that's how lovable you are. You open up our hearts, bro. You're like a great younger brother for everybody.
I try.
So, do you have anything nice to say about the Dockers?
I didn't watch the game, so I've got no idea what happened. But Freo might make finals. Freo probably won't make. Not Freo. Port probably won't make finals. So
Almost certainly at this point.
yeah, just about. Yeah.
Horn Francis is still out for a little bit. He's
Yeah,
first of 46.
they're hoping he's back after the bye. I'm not sure how true
think
that
that'll
is.
happen.
I don't think that will happen.
He's still contemplating whether or not to dip his toe in the ice bath or not. He's still
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, he's gotten the toenail in, and he can't get past that stage.
Someone needs to push him in.
Yep.
He was out running. He was running laps.
Well, I tell you, who won't push. I'll tell you the person who won't push him in, Kane Corns.
No. he'll jump in for him.
Yep.
He's
yeah.
one of my favorite topics to talk about because I think he's a perfect representation of media getting way too used to the privilege that high media gets. Like
Yes,
those really big media. Like, sure, they are the best of the best when it comes to it. They have the experience. He's an ex-AFL player. Like he's gonna
300 games.
Yeah, he's got the respect and he's gonna have the chance to. But I think it's getting to the point now where he expects people. Realistically, getting that kind of access is a privilege for anyone in that particular media and particular medium. No matter whether you are a Fox Footy representative or 7AFL representative,
Yep.
or to the point where you're just independent running a podcast. It is a privilege to get those types of people and get those types of interviews from them. And it feels like he almost expects them to answer it. Right, when he got the North ban, which I was a bit up in the air about because I feel like that was just exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
He basically decided that him being taken out was a sign of,
Vindication
Yeah,
or martyrdom.
exactly. Like he's doing the media sphere a favor. It's like
Yeah.
when you bring it to the base level, you've just lost access to potential stories. We want to know
Absolutely.
about this stuff.
100%.
And you've just lost it. Just like that. Off of what was Sheezy Ball.
Yeah.
Like just a very weird hill to die on. And
Yeah, even
you could
Bevo.
say,
Even Bevo.
Yeah, the Bevo one, look, I feel unfortunately he's quite easy to rile up.
Yes.
And I think they've understood that. But again, it's a privilege to be able to talk to people who are that involved with the game. And I feel like Kane Corns is the perfect representative of the type of media person who has gotten way too used to it. Way too used to it. So
Agreed.
I'd like to see a bit more respect go around in the higher levels of it. And I think there's plenty of AFL journalists who do. Plenty of them. But he is representing those type of journalists who, unfortunately, he gets the most headlines.
Yeah.
It unfortunately works. So you have to decide quality over quantity in terms of the content versus
Yes.
the outcome or the views or whatnot. So
Agreed.
yeah, look,
Very American.
Whole different ballpark to Fremantle versus Port Adelaide, but Kane Cornes is just such an interesting person.
Yeah, it's a more
discuss.
interesting topic than talking about two teams that
Poor
really
Freo and poor
aren't really going to be challenging. Like I personally thought the Dockers would be challenging for top 4 this year.
Yeah, so did I.
Adding
Same.
Shea Bolton to the list.
Caleb Sarong was so I think he was my Brownlow pick because he was just consistently getting better and better and better, both through medal results and through general player Freo. I was like, this is their year.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the chance to really contend. And they just look, they're in the spot I thought the Dogs were going to be.
Yeah.
Like middle of the table, as middle as you can get.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they're just mid.
Mid, and that's what you call them. You've been consistent on that this year.
Yeah,
Just mid.
Yeah, and I'll keep saying until I get proven otherwise. Like,
Exactly. Well, they need to.
I shouldn't be saying this after 2 wins in a row from Freo, but
You're
make
still
it,
not convinced.
make it 4 in a row.
that's fine.
How about that?
Yeah, put it on them.
They lost to Melbourne.
If you win 4 in a row, I'll stop calling you mid. All right,
There you go.
there you go.
I think that's completely
The
fair.
free
honestly.
I
middle.
think that's pretty fair.
The free middle Dockers.
The free mid Dockers.
The
Free
free middle. Yeah, that rings. Yeah, I'll give it that.
And then Port, you're a
That's a
long,
goal.
you're a
Thank
long
you,
way
thank
away from being back to top 4.
Port's even more confusing for me. I thought they were gonna be still at least top 8.
Yeah,
I didn't expect this.
yeah. The midfield's good.
It's everywhere around
Back
it.
line and forward line's terrible.
Thoughts on Brandon Zerk-Thatcher?
He's
The
fine.
reverse Coleman medalist. Yeah. I love BZ. I do have a soft spot for BZ.
That's good.
I think he was hard done by. Jeez, we're having a bit of the microphone issues here. I think he was hard done by at the Bombers because he was playing as the number 1 key defender, when really that's not his game.
That's not his role.
He's more so there as a third, and I thought at Port Adelaide he'd have a chance to play that role because they've got Alira, they've got Radagalia, and so I thought we were going to see the best of BZT over there, but their back line has been pretty dysfunctional as well, and Radagalia's had times playing forward and things like that, so it's really interesting. So look, I got nothing but love towards BZT. Had to go back home to his family, and this is what professionals do. We just keep talking regardless of what's happening around us. We don't get distracted.
Well, what have you done to it?
I haven't touched the thing
You were literally touching it for like 5 minutes.
because I could feel it getting lower, and I
Yeah.
could tell that the microphone
yeah,
wasn't
you
in front
reckon
of me anymore.
it's got its own. It's got a mind of its own, does it? Speed run the Sunday games.
Sunday games are really interesting. The Eagles snap back to reality. Nothing to talk about there. Very
Yeah.
long rebuild to come.
Yeah, go Crom.
Go the Crom.
Yeah.
And
Are they top 4?
the Crom
Yep.
Absolutely, at their best.
at the best.
I was 1,000% agree.
At their best.
Jordan Dawson, I think, is currently favourite for Brownlow.
It seems it. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting.
He keeps having fantastic games and no one's close to him.
No,
He does.
not at all.
He does. And the Swans, I thought they'd do better with Callum Mills back, but the donkey was clearly missing not playing football so much that he decided to get suspended again. So well done, Callum Mills. Stand up, captain. This is exactly what you want from your leadership group at the Swans. So
Can Melbourne make top 8?
Melbourne can make top 8 from now.
I agree. It's not
Will
over yet.
they? I hope not. We have their first pick, but they certainly can with the run that they're on.
Yep, I agree.
I'd imagine you were really, really excited to start the year.
Oh,
with how they
so
were.
excited.
You could have, I tell you what, your team has had a lot of chances to rebuild and have felt like they never would.
Yep.
And I thought they would be able to get away with it this year
were so
with
close.
with the Melbourne pick as well. But like, if Melbourne do make finals, man, I don't know what to tell you.
It would be the most Essendon thing possible. Even the best laid plans can unfortunately come unstuck. But that just about does us. That was the week that was. Thank you so much, Freeze, for coming on, man.
Saints Suns?
No worries at all. True Saints Suns. Do we want to quickly mention that?
The Saints and the Suns?
Yeah.
We'll just mention the Ross Lyon and Damien Hardwick.
Sure.
Wait, is it Saints Sun?
Because
It was
Oh, yeah,
Saints
Saints
because
Suns.
there was nothing to talk about in that game.
No, dead boring game.
The best part happened pre-game and
Pre-game.
post-game.
Nepo baby.
Yeah, Nepo baby. I thought it's an interesting one. I think Ross Lyon is correct, but I also think Damien Hardwick's correct. I think it's just good for footy once again. We like rivalries.
Ross is just purely deflecting from the on-field performances.
That is
That's
true.
what he's doing.
That is true, but what he said about Gold Coast is also true.
But completely uncalled for.
Yes, probably a weird thing to say before a game.
It's like Draper saying that all these Bulldogs players won out if Bevo's still around.
yeah,
But completely unnecessary.
yeah,
Dumb thing to say.
probably one for before the show.
Draper, sure, you're an idiot footballer. But Ross Lyon, you are a coach.
Well,
Difference.
he's got media training too now. He
He's-
spent a bit of time in the
absolutely.
media before he went back to the Saints. So, like, he knows how to rile it up. He knows how to make it interesting.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Reese, for coming on.
No worries. It's
Thank
been an absolute
you.
pleasure.
Good
I appreciate
man,
it,
good
guys.
man.
Glad you had fun. Where can all of our wonderful viewers find you?
Oh, all right. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram at NorthyAFL. I also run a podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under Zero Access Footy. So thank you so much again, guys.
Gee, the way you act and the way you perform, that's definitely something to tune in. You've done a tremendous job.
You haven't been
on
tuning in
debut.
already?
Sorry?
You haven't been tuning in already?
Oh, well, no, I'm sorry.
That's all
I'm a
right.
Hawthorn supporter last time I
I
talked.
had to throw him under the bus one last time. And massive thanks to Hockey Sunglasses for
Hockey.
these incredible shades. I wish I could have stayed in these the whole show, but
They do the job well, I'll
they
tell you
do
what.
the job
Yeah.
so well.
I like them.
Find it online or at Queen Victoria Market. It is Hockey, HOKKY. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you had to hear or see here today, please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and
Got on
rate
my
us
glasses.
5
Oh.
stars. Shut up, Steve-O. And rate us 5 stars on Spotify because it greatly helps the growth of our channel to reach out to other wonderful sponsors and to bring you bigger and better things. So we'll see you all in the next one.
Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.